Question number one. I have an 18-year-old son who is completely silent everywhere. He used to speak and then faded from speech starting around second grade. I have never met another kid with SM or a parent with a kid with SM. My son has no support at all at home. Are there any resources you recommend I check out and pass along?
Thanks, Bran. This is a great question. There's a lot in this question that can be talked about. We could probably spend the whole podcast on this question alone. Number one, we know nothing about this boy here. In other words, has he had a full medical, psychological evaluation, a neurological evaluation? What have you done in terms of understanding why this child of yours hasn't spoken in 11 years? Is there something that led up to that prior to him fading from speech? Did he have symptoms of selective mutism, social anxiety, any other Ys of SM that may have led to this? What else may have been going on? For an individual to not speak anywhere for 11 years, that's a really, really long time. So this child needs he's not a child anymore. He's 18 years old. He's a man, basically. Needs a full evaluation to determine what other things may be going on. Maybe this is just psychological. I don't mean to say this is only psychological, but there could be medical reasons why an individual at 7 years of age slowly fades from speech. It wasn't like there was an abrupt change. You clearly stated faded from speech. I am not by any means saying that your child is on the autism spectrum, but we do see language fading times in individuals. Does he have signs of autism? How is he functioning academically? How is he functioning socially without speech? How is he communicating his needs? Even though he's mute, is he basically appropriate in his communication in terms of nonverbal engaging other than speech? So again, I don't know these answers. I don't know. You said he has no support locally at home. I suggest that you look into specialists that have an expertise in selective mutism. You can go to selectivemutism.org, the Selective Mutism Association, and look for specialists in your area. You can also look for clinicians that offer telehealth in different areas of the country. Maybe your state is one of them. I do think this individual needs to be seen by somebody with an expertise. At least at the Smart Center, we do something called the Selective Mutism Evaluation, which is we look into, the Ys of SM, the stages. Obviously, he's mute everywhere, but what may have been going on in his history to begin this process. Here's a big question. Does he have the ability to speak at this point? Or is he completely mute and doesn't have the ability to speak? So I think all of these things have to be kind of investigated. Also, does he have a motivation to speak? Is he in his room all day? Does he have individuals he communicates with non-verbally, so he has friends? I don't know any of these answers, but these are things I'd want to know to be able to help him. If he's completely mute everywhere, but he has the ability to speak, that he wants to speak, that he's a socially kind of appropriate individual other than mutism, and that he doesn't have any medical or neurological difficulties, and he's functioning basically at age or grade level, there are things we can do. For individuals who are stuck but have the ability to speak, it sounds like he's stuck in the nonverbal stage of communication. And there are strategies. For example, the ritual sound approach, where we shape sounds into words. I have worked with countless individuals, adults as well, who have not spoken for many, many years. But again, they have to have the ability to speak. If they're on the autism spectrum, they have the ability to engage and participate in this. And again, I don't know that with this son of yours. So what I would say is a full evaluation by somebody with knowledge. And it may mean that you need to repeat some evaluations. Often evaluations, unfortunately, could be misinterpreted or incorrect if the child was shut down and not able to participate. And maybe it was seen as he doesn't have the skills, but in reality, he does have the skills. So I think what you're getting from me, this is a loaded question. It's difficult with teens because there's so much in their background that we don't know that needs to be determined as a first step. And then from there, we can move forward. And hopefully he has some motivation for change and he is functioning appropriately for his age other than his mutism and not speaking, and we can work with that.
Is this a good time to bring up that the earlier you seek treatment, the better?
Absolutely. It's difficult as individuals age because behaviors become very conditioned. In addition to that, the whys of SM that may have been factors into, the factors into why an individual developed SM are also why they're being maintained, and SM is being maintained. So if that is not seen, it's difficult. So yes, the earlier the better. But what may have happened here is that this family may have seeked out resources, but wasn't able to get any help. And we do see that. We often see families who come to the Smart Center who have seen multiple clinicians over the course of their entire life, including the adults we work with, but no one was ever able to really peg this down and really figure it out. And sometimes those whys of SM, even having autism and SM, are overlooked or not seen together. They see behaviors as SM behaviors. But as I'm going to say to this question and many other in the future, SM being mute is a symptom. It's a symptom of other things going on, and we need to understand what else may be going on with this individual. When you mention that your son has not spoken for basically 11 years, at this point, because he is mute everywhere, he has more of a pervasive mutism rather than a selective mutism. And as I mentioned, with questions I'd want to know is, did he have a selective mutism where perhaps he spoke at home, but had a difficult time speaking in social situations such as school or out and about in the real world prior to this speech fading out? And that word fading out is really kind of a buzzword for me here, because fading out means it was gradual. And that's, a question I have as to why did he gradually stop speaking and how long was that gradual fading out occur, which again, I spoke about in terms of individuals on the autism spectrum can lose their speech at a younger age where it kind of fades away. And I don't know that his speech was appropriate language skills prior to second grade. There are families I work with who will say, yeah, my child speaks, but when you really investigate this through a speech and language eval, as well as questions that are asked to the parents, that at home he may only respond to choice questions, doesn't give elaborative initiative responses, or doesn't speak with elaboration and is not initiative, but mainly responds with a few words. To me, that is not appropriate speech. So again, I'd want to know those answers.